Hello everybody, and good afternoon. This is NWI Prepper 19113, and this is a video to show off solarham.net. I'm pretty new to it. However, I have been made aware of damage that can be produced by coronal mass ejections or X-class flares and EMPs produced by the sun. Now, you can go to solarham.net or .com. Either way, it'll get you to this site. And if you study up on it, you can learn when you should be concerned for your sensitive electronics and get them into an EMP bag until the threat of the flare is over. Now, just to give you an idea of what I'm talking about, here they show you the solar flare risk and active watches. Okay, you've got the 55% chance of an M-class flare and 15% of an X-class flare. And this is will go along with the following report for the next couple of days. Okay, for active watches, no geomagnetic storm and no radiation storm. And I think that's just for today, because the report reflects otherwise. Now, let's see here. I'll show you. We'll go back to October 30th. You can pause this and read it, or just go to the site and check it out. It's up right now, exactly like this, what I'm showing you. Now, what their concern is this cluster right here, sunspot number 2443, and it says, good morning, here is an updated look at the visible solar disk on Friday. Solar activity during the past 24 hours remained low, although solar X-ray levels have increased with the addition of a big sunspot number 2443. Numerous low to mid-level C flares are being detected this morning. Reset there. This morning around the active region, and an isolated M flare will remain possible during the next 24 hours. Some polarity mixing within the trailing section of the group is noted, and in the latest magnetic imagery, and this could help the chances for a moderate flare. All other visible regions are currently stable and non-threatening. A large transequatorial coronal hole continues to move across the visible disk and will become geo-effective beginning early next week. A solar wind stream flowing from the hole could lead to geomagnetic storming at higher latitudes once it arrives. This was the same coronal hole that led to geomagnetic storming and vivid aurora displays earlier this month, and on October 7th and 8th. Will we see a repeat? Stay tuned to solarham.com to find out. Now, moving on to October 31st, a little humor there. However, so you can still see sunspot number 2443 here on the left. And this report says, good morning, this is yesterday, by the way. Good morning and happy Halloween. Below is the updated Earth-gazing look at the solar disk on Saturday. Solar activity remained at ghoulishly low levels, with only minor C flares detected. Much of this activity was observed around freakishly large sunspot cluster 2443. The hair-raising sunspot group continued to show some growth, especially within the trailing section of the group. The sinister-looking region will remain a threat for isolating moderate M-class solar flares, with a much lower chance for a blood-curdling X-class event. All other sunspots were either stable or in a state of dreadful decay. Stay tuned to solarham.com for the most up-to-date and sometimes scary space weather news and data. So they they're not all hardcore there. Anyway, let's see here. We got geomagnetic storm. Storm watch added. A geomagnetic storm watch for the potential of reaching strong G3 levels has been added for November 2nd into the 3rd. The possible storm will be due to a high-speed solar wind stream flowing from a soon-to-be geo-effective coronal hole. Sky watchers should be alert for visible aurora displays during the beginning of the upcoming week. Stay tuned to solarham.com. So, for today, here's a good look at that sunspot cluster they're talking about. Now, this is the good part. November 1st, 2015, big sunspot, a flare threat. As of this update, a big sunspot cluster, 2443, has produced countless C-class flares and one low-level M flare. The active region continues to expand in both size and magnetic complexity. Moderate M flares will remain possible during the next 24 to 48 hours, with a small but increasing chance for an isolated X-class event. Region 2443 will continue to move into the better Earth-facing position during the next several days. Attached image below, courtesy of SDO and HMI. Stay tuned for updates. SDO and HMI are the instruments that were used to capture this image. Now, with the threat of this isolated X-class event, I am going to throw my sensitive electronics back in their EMP bags, including this camera, because I don't want to take any chances, you know. And that's the bad thing about solar flares, is everything has to bounce in and out of these EMP bags. But you don't want to take a chance. There's been, have you ever noticed you're watching TV or listening to the radio, and all of a sudden you have some interference? This is where that'll be coming from, is from sunspots. So, anytime you have a report like this, I will go ahead and protect my equipment, because it'll take a lot of time and money to replace it. Okay, so I hope this was interesting and you learned something, and get over to solarham.com and check this out if you found this interesting. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.